All the crazy shit I did tonight, those would be the best memories.
I almost dozed off to that monotonous muttering. When I realized that the voices quieted, I pulled the voice recorder back up. I made myself comfortable on the ancient sofa and started listening to the recording. One time when I was little, I was visiting friends. They had a real antique, a huge radio gramophone which stood on the cabinet. Its heating light bulbs droned when it was on, and a mysterious warm light shone from inside it. If you turned the old yellow knob slowly enough, you could hear a lot of things, such as twanging of the Kazakh dombra or the meowing speech of our Chinese brothers. But usually it produced mysterious rushing with rare noises of seemingly alien nature. It sounded like aliens exchanging coded messages or ghosts trying to say something from the underworld. Sometimes it was rather creepy, but this was scarier for some reason. The strangers' voices were rather hard to make out. The words I could sometimes understand usually didn't make any sense, as if they weren't speaking Russian, though I knew and understood most of the words perfectly. I also understood that they were talking about me indeed. First they mentioned my last name, and then declared that it's time to kill Vanya. I jumped up and put in my headphones. It was another sleepless night for me, except the TV had nothing to do with it. Eyes are the mirror of the soul. My tired, restless soul looked back at me from the mirror. This must be what chronic alcoholics see every morning. I still can't get used to it. 3 sleepless days and over 70 hours of deciphering the mumbling between interface and TV noise. Turned out I wasn't the first victim of this savage gang. It wasn't the first time they were planning to shoot someone. I even heard a gun click. And then dismember and scatter at forests and dumps. Valentin's mysterious friend assured him that it would be impossible to identify me by random body parts. Talking about murder intervened with cooking recipes and discussing summer vacation, which only made it scarier. So they can murder a person, wash their hands, sit down to the table, drink vodka, chasing it down with spiced herring, make plans for the upcoming summer. While my body will be lying packed in a dozen plastic bags, then it will be thrown into the trunk of a rusty Lada 6 and taken to the suburbs. And no one will ever know about my death, but I will be gone, only consuming impenetrable darkness, absolute emptiness and silence. A sudden noise made me jump in my computer chair. I stared into the darkness and felt a cold sweat break out on my back. Bony black hands reached towards me from the window, and then threw their long twisted fingers towards me. I closed my eyes tight and started giggling. I was scared by crooked shadows of branches when a car drove by when I was little, but I'm a grown up now. The noise turned out to be the clatter of the neighbor's TV. Irritation and anger bubbled up in me, filling the space freed by the temporary disappeared fear. I felt the urge to go downstairs, kick the mean old woman and break Valentin's own legs, to punch out a couple of teeth, break a few ribs, and most importantly, throw the damn TV out the window, then go outside and dance on the pieces until I'm taken away by the medics, or by noble policemen who seem to protect only drunks and criminals in this country. I shook my head to banish the dark thoughts. During Valentin's last visit, I was cooled by the thought of Russian prison as well, and my wife, who will come to visit me and will move in next to this scum, all alone. No way. Prison is not for such a young, just beginning to live teacher like me. They're the ones that should be in prison, Valentin and his criminal buddies, and even the old woman for covering them. who, by the way, participates in their creepy table talk. I uploaded all the recordings and transcripts with the times of most interesting parts to a memory stick. I looked up the addresses of the closest police departments on the internet and started to wait. The morning TV program announced that the beginning of the workday is just around the corner. Morning came. I don't remember how I reached the police station. The same thoughts were drowsily spinning in my head. Militia was replaced by the police. The militia kept me safe, but politia doesn't have to. It's not militia. Maybe they were renamed again. Now they're gendarmes? Gendarmes? I really hope that I wasn't blabbing aloud while waiting for the district police officer to see me. They let me into his office, but he was somewhere else. Having breakfast? I imagined him going down to the first floor, entering a code on the massive door. Goes into the wing where the remand prison is. What's a remand prison doing in a police station? Passes the doors with windows out of which aluminum dishes are shoved out of. He takes those dishes, takes a spoon out of his boot, and hastily eats someone's gruel. What is happening? When he's done, he pulls out his long tongue and licks his lips, face, his whole bald head, and gives me his usual bored, reproachful stare. What's he unhappy about? Did I do something wrong? Did I forget to do something? Bon appetit. The left eyebrow started to creep up. No, my right. His second right. Or extreme left. How many damn eyebrows does he have? Looks like I guessed wrong. He needed something else. Hello, perhaps? The officer dubiously agreed. Perhaps. Despite the tiny dimensions of the office, he managed to walk around me in an arch, wiped the dusty vault, which hadn't had that honor since last century, with his uniformed butt, edged into the squeaky chair and made a couple of automatic movements. Simultaneously twitched his arm and jerked his leg. Or was it the other way around? In any case, the policeman's leg hit the computer case under the table. The ancient computer, which at least as old as the dust on the vault, started to come alive. Snorted, crackled, stretched, shook its head. I mean, it would do that if it was human. Being the old machine that it is, it started jumping and shaking like a farm tractor, or the Vietka Soviet washing machine. At the same time, the twitched arm ended up pushing a button on a remote. Then and there, something exploded and guns started barking behind me. I turned my head and stared at the screen in surprise. The NTV channel, with its endless string of shows about cops and criminals, was on. Was this job our district officer's calling? Something he couldn't imagine his life without? He's like a prostitute who comes home from work, turns on porn and invites the neighbor over for a quickie. What the heck? I'm looking at it the wrong way. Before me is a truly devoted servant of law enforcement. But why is he defending the man, the mean granny, and Valentin the crook? What unites them? Love for the grumbling with the gunshots TV? What did he find at my house? Classical music. Conclusion. Citizen Nuamov is a moral monster, while Granny and the jailbird are friendly victims of that classical monster. He won't help me. I even rose and to leave, saw the officer's look, sat down. It won't hurt to try. Someone wants to kill me. The officer knowingly nodded, like who doesn't? I would kill you too, but I'm on duty, too busy. The granny? Well, she too. I'm not making it up. Here, the proof's on the memory stick. It's a recording of a discussion on my murder and dismemberment. Gennady Petrovich looked at the memory stick. He couldn't even try to take it. He spent about 30 seconds trying to set it on fire with his eyes. Finally, he squeamishly took it with 2 fingers and crawled under the table. He fidgeted with turning the computer case for a while. Finally, he hit his bald head on the table, cursed, and came up. I explained him what to look for and where, which files had which information, while Gennady Petrovich looked at me very disapprovingly as usual. It's empty. I can't hear anything. I started to worry. How? That can't be. Turn up the volume. Where are the speakers? Gennady Petrovich looked at me with even more disapproval. He took small speakers out of a table drawer, unwinded the cord and went under the table again to plug them in. I can't hear anything, just the TV. At least now, do you believe me that they keep bothering me with it? Was this recorded in your apartment? No, in the vent. Gennady Petrovich looked at me empathetically and didn't even say anything. But they're talking about murdering me. You have to go to my house so you can listen to it in good headphones. Gennady Petrovich got even more bored. I'll write a complaint. You have to react to it. The officer changes his look from bored to disapproving, sighed and moved a piece of printer paper and a bitten pen towards me. Looks like Gennady Petrovich received a complaint from BEAUZ recently. I took out my stylus from my pocket and unwittingly started to bite it. Great, now I have to remember to put the right signature. I should sign Nuamov, not Beaver. And I had to cross out the first signature. I joked too much. I have to hand it to him. Our policeman came over rather quickly, but there wasn't much use of his visit. He obediently placed the headphones on his bald head and put on his bored look before I even turned on the first recording. He heard distinct words in the places I marked. He even heard the same words I did. At least he nodded his jury head when I asked him about it. But when I asked if anything could be done, he shook his head no. First of all, he hadn't found any proof of evil intent on the recordings. Second of all, the recordings were made illegally and could not be presented as proof in court. So I had to have written consent of the neighbors to record. When you get killed, then come see me. For the first time, I thought I saw a sparkle of joy in the officer's eyes. Despite that, his face stayed absolutely serious. He's not joking. It's how they work. If there's a body clenching the killer's passport, they got a case. Or if the neighbors tell them that someone saw a person leaving the victim's apartment who was carrying a bloody axe and had distinguished features all over their body. But if a harmless alcoholic with a knife invited his friends with guns to kill the neighbor, not enough for a case. Let them kill and dismember him first. Have you seen my minority report? Our state is not totalitarian enough to imprison people for crimes they haven't committed yet. Have a nice day. And the officer marched off, leaving me gaping for air on the doorstep. You shitty intellectual, half-baked moralist. So you're the hero who protects the rights and freedoms of citizens. Okay, that's... By staying alive, I'm going against their moral principles and cause-effect links. But they would gladly work with my dismembered remains. Perhaps they would even somehow link them to my recordings and complaints, or, since they're illegal, file another cold case. But with a clear conscience and in good mood, my remains wouldn't annoy them as much as living me does. What would they consider proof? If not audio, then maybe video? But video of what? Will a video of a criminal waving his gun and promising to kill me be enough? I have an old camcorder somewhere in the wardrobe. One of those you can tie to a rope. Not one of the half phones. Should I do this? I probably need written consent of the neighbors for this as well. But it might get me some attention. So what should I do? Wow, the first choice, bro. Crazy, dude. Yeah, we do it there. Let me go save here. Videotape the neighbors. Why hesitate? I'm surrounded by monsters which need to be brought into the open. This is not the way it should be. I used to be scared of homeless, muzzleless dogs because they could bite. I was scared of germs, which could also not kill, then cause an illness. I was scared of traffic because I could be hit by a car. I was scared of burning my fingers on a flame or a frying pan. Those were all proper fears. They protected my life and my health. But never was I scared of people. I could always come to an agreement with them. Even if the argument couldn't be won with words, I could always use force. Now I'm knocking on a solid wall. Words don't help. Beating someone up won't help, because it will only fuel their appetite for revenge. I need to fight with all available means. A dog can be chased away with a stick, or a frying pan can be picked up with a pot holder, and the road can be crossed using the traffic light. But what is there to do with these mean and unbelievably cruel people? A stick won't scare them away, except perhaps it could beat them to death. I imagined myself beating the old woman with a club I picked up on the street, and understood that I don't have much left. Either her son's friends will shoot me, or I will strike him down and her too, with an axe, and I will take the 20 kopecks due for such a good deed. As one world-famous student said, 5 grannies make a ruble. I even tried to imitate an evil laugh, got it right on about the 4th try. Meanwhile, I tied a rope to the old camcorder, turned it on, and started lowering it from an open window. What do I plan to record? What do I expect to see? What would be useful for me, to be more exact? Valentin picking his nose and eating boogers won't do any good in court. Neither will a video of the granny changing. That would be not only useless, but even harmful. If I catch as much as a glimpse of her spaniel ears hanging down her Shar-Pei, I'll have to get a divorce. I don't even know what that means. What the fuck does that even mean? Why would my sweetie want an impotent husband? I flinched and shook my head, trying to get rid of revolting visions of an elderly stop model in pre-war cast-offs. I'd make a bad journophile voyeur. I don't know what that is. Can't enjoy the process. Not that it's the time for enjoyment. The camera faced the window. I squinted, trying to see the screen, which I turned to face upwards beforehand. Shadows of people were lurching around the room. Unclear silhouettes were swinging their arms and the items they were clenching. What's that you have going in there? A party? Tribal dancing? Those things look like axes. What? Axes? They must be dismembering someone in there. One of the members of the Homebody Murderers Club turned around and started moving towards the window. They caught me. I mean, not me, the camera. Retreat! Screw this! I'm out! I jerked the camera back into my apartment, closed the window, and shut the blinds. In panic, I crashed onto the sofa and tried to catch my breath. That was some adrenaline rush. I hope I didn't start liking it. On the other hand, I'm not that crazy. Speaking of psychos, I should watch the recording. Or not? No, I have to. There is no going back now. It's kind of scary, and my mouth is dry. I'll pour myself some Coke and grab something to eat. When I returned from the kitchen, video had already uploaded to the computer. I made myself comfortable in the chair, opened a bag of popcorn. Great snack. Cola, popcorn, interesting film. Looks like a good day. I played the video and watched it again and again until it made me nauseous. Yes, Valentin's guests were obviously butchering something or someone. And when one of them moved towards the window, I could clearly see dark blood on the axe. My adrenaline calmed down. I felt exhausted and barely made it to the toilet. I vomited bile and popcorn. I spent a couple of minutes sitting with my hot forehead leaning against the cold rim of the toilet bowl. I rose heavily and shuffled off to the room. The downstairs TV was bursting with screaming. Maybe it wasn't the TV. I didn't care anymore. I wanted to finally sleep. But the doorbell chased away my sleepiness as usual. That bastard. I peeked into the Judas hole and saw a ghoul. Blue skin, face with no sign of intellect, crazy eyes filled with hate. I returned to my room thinking, a typical ghoul won't be able to enter until you invite him in 3 times. That calmed and bothered me at the same time. What if he eats the neighbors? It'd be their fault. They shouldn't open doors to evil spirits. I didn't. Nevertheless, the ghoul is raging, kicking the metal, banging with his fists. I turned the music on to block out the noise and even started to fall asleep, but something kept me restless. He switched off the electricity. There can't be any music. I glanced at the acoustic center and confirmed that the lights aren't blinking, and the music was cut off. I sat in the silent darkness. I spoke too soon about the silence. The noise made by the neighbor and the TV didn't go anywhere. It was simply no longer smothered by the music in my head. Too bad. It was very, very convenient. Why is he making so much noise? Filthy ghoul decided to have a taste of my blood? Not this time. I'm still thirsty, by the way. Perhaps I should make some tea. Oh wait, the electricity is off. I'll have to eat the brew dry. Ugh, disgusting. Now I see why they prefer blood. What? What blood? I spit out the half-chewed brew and rubbed my temples. I'm obviously losing my mind because of continuous lack of sleep and stress. Time to put an end to this. Which leaves me 2 options. To either take the video to the police or to do that, but later, and gather more proof. How much longer can my, why hide it, deranged mind take? Actually no, my mind is fine. Real psychos don't admit it, even to themselves. I see that I'm a psycho, which means that I'm not a psycho at all. Do nothing, kick some ass. I have to decide, should I take the recordings to the police or not? To be or not to be? I can't add a save here. Kick some ass. Kick some ass mean take the recording to the police? It probably wasn't a person they were doing that to, you know, so. Screw them all. Screw, tra la la. Oh. So where was I? I was about to do something. Screw something? Someone? I turned my head and my sight fell on the monitor. Axe. Black blood. Police, I need to put a ghoul in prison. Send him home to other bloodsuckers like him. Everyone will be happy. I will do a good deed. Whistling something, I uploaded the video onto the memory stick and... Wait, the electricity is off. The monitor screen is black. The computer is off, which means that the memory stick in my hand is blank. That won't do. I need to perk up. The brew didn't help. I'll try chewing coffee. Wait, no, that's... I need more evidence, bro. I need more evidence. Nothing. Actually, why not calm down and thoughtfully think it over? That was me trying to hypnotize myself. Strangely enough, it worked. I sat on my butt as I planned and spent a couple of hours sitting like that. Maybe even days. Those floating circles outside my window were probably the moon and sun. But when I looked at the clock, I saw that only a minute had passed. How can I sit if I'm so jittery? Why am I so jittery? A moment ago, I was ready to fall asleep standing, like a horse. Could it be the coffee? Of course, I ate it with a spoon and washed it down with Coke. It's pure poison to my long-suffering nervous system. What do I do now? Spit it out? That crap must be in my blood by now. Bloodletting? No, medical methods are unscientific. Better not to trust them. Who can I trust? Only myself, it seems. But I wouldn't mind having someone to advise me. Right, over there in the dark is the silhouette of someone I can trust. My reflection in the mirror. We didn't debate for long. I proposed auto lavage, but none of us knew how to do it. In reply, I offered myself to eat more sleeping pills. This time, I disagreed. First of all, I already ate all the sleeping pills while I was fighting nighttime TV sessions. Second of all, taking a lot of sleeping sleeping pills is bad, dangerous, and sometimes lethal even. Especially in my current state when I'm not sure of my own adequacy. For example, I think I ate coffee with a spoon from the jar, but I don't remember when. Moreover, it appears to me that I'm doing what this moment, not me per se, another me in a parallel universe. Then I will go to the police. What for? They won't believe me. There's barely any proof. What's a video of people with bloody access to them? Dust. There's no victim, no permission for filming, no names. That's not how I should to do it. I should keep spying on the neighbors and find out the identities of their accomplices. That's what I will do. But first, coffee. The vision of a spoonful of brown granules refused to let me go. I really need to perk up. I'm starting to hallucinate. That's from exhaustion, but I don't have time to rest. I need to shed the light on them. I must. They're only dangerous in muddy water. They're just that kind of creatures. What else do I know about them? Scared of silver, salt, and wooden stakes to the heart. Well, let's suppose no one would like a stake to the heart. Where's my mind? Salt, silver. I was going to spy on them. I have a voice recorder, a camcorder, and a piece of rope. Enough to leave a death note and hang myself. But I'll have to take the hard way. What was it I said about water? I need clean water. To do what? Wash my face? Laundry? No, I need a clean and clear mind. I wanted to find Valentine's and Granny Veran's accomplices. That means I need to set up a camera so I would film the street and approaching cars. And I should move my mini camera from above my door to their staircase. I put down the half-empty jar and spoon. I need to chase down the coffee. I had some mineral water somewhere. Coke? Will do. Now it's time to get to work. There was no one on the staircase. Perfect. I fed the cable through a canal in the wall behind the fuse boxes. I pulled it out a floor lower, plugged it into my night vision camera, and stuck the camera just below the ceiling. The camera is grey, so is the cable. They shouldn't be able to notice it right away. Footsteps came from behind the door and I ran home. I will watch you from here, my cozy fortress home, behind a very thick door, and with very thin walls, though which I can perfectly hear someone being killed again. Through which I can. Except this time I am not at all sure that it's the TV. I should watch both cameras on the monitor. Aha, there's a new car by the house. Looks like we have guests, and they're probably here to see. I was right. One of them is trying to connect the doorbell's wires. Now the other one shoved him and is pounding on the door with his fists. Then he kicks the door a couple times. Manners of the unforgettable Valentine. Maybe it's him? There, he is opening the door from the other side and stepping aside to let in the Valentine from outside. All Valentines were inside the apartment. The TV volume immediately went up. Oh, you little conspirators. Now you don't want the neighbors to hear you? But we have a voice recorder, a stocking, and a vent. I lowered the device into the vent and waited for a whole eternity. But when I pulled it out, the recording was blank. Almost. I was less than a minute long. Apparently time flows differently there. So that's where parallel me who first ate coffee came from. They have some singularity in there. A mystic portal where all these ghouls keep coming from. Stop, I'm getting carried away. I was just about to do the math. What would I need to close the portal to hell? How much water would I need to sanctify it buffed up in order to drown the portal and the ghouls? The voice recorder just broke, or I actually kept it in there for less than a minute, but a whole eternity passed here. Which brings us back to the singularity version. In any case, I won't hear anything else. Instead, I'll go look at the plate number of the car and try to find out who the owner is. Shit, I can't see anything. The quality is too low. How can I make the quality better, especially if I didn't make it worse? I need optics, binoculars. I made hand binoculars and looked through them. Not helping. I need lenses. I'll have to go outside and take a closer look and take a notepad or a journal. A book, a newspaper. Oh, I will write it down on my hand. I went outside, crouched, and made my way to the Valentine's car. The number was luxury V888V, but the numbers changed when I shifted my glance. I looked again. Some old V888VV. Alright, I get the letters. 2 Valentines came on that car, but the numbers. I stretched my left eye a little and the 8s turned to 6s. Number of the beast. Camouflage. It's definitely a portal to the underworld. I should write down both numbers. I turned my palm to write on it and dropped my heap of newspapers, journals and books. Just in case, I wrote both variants of the plate number on my hand. Then in journals, books, and on margins of newspapers. I wrote down a lot of numbers. Bro, I'm going crazy, man, this guy. Also, I like how this is like, it's the main menu screen. So, it won't be an easy job to shed light on so many ghoul Valentines. It's not like taking a shit while squatting. Actually, that doesn't sound that easy either. I'll do a squatting dance and at the same time, all the stupid things that creeps into my head. And what do we have here? All the ghoul Valentines stood before me. I wanted to blind them with a cross, but ended up dropping my papers again. I'll bring you out into the light. I'll sanctify my bathtub and drown you in holy water. You will all splatter. Valentines looked at each other. Maybe we should put him in the basement with the Turkmen for a while. He's being weird. Oh man. While one of them was opening the trunk, the 2 others grabbed me by the arms and raised me in the air. I have it all down. How you murdered and dismembered, and the plate numbers, and the number of the beast. Oh. Then the sky fell on my head and everything went dark. I was in a dungeon. Eyes of ghouls sparked in the dark. What is this place? A basement? What evil spirits surround me in the dark? What language are they speaking? The ghouls groaned and moaned in the dark, but didn't leave their corners. Were they scared of just fool? Oh, wow. I couldn't feel my hands. I looked down and realized that I don't have hands. I gasped. The stumps of my hands were tied with a rope. That's why they weren't bleeding. I started to wail softly. They ate my hands. I don't have hands. I can't feel my feet either. This one? Hey, are you stoned? 2 Valentines stood in front of me. What do they want? I don't have any stones. They want to cut open my stomach and check? No! I jerked, tried to move away, but I couldn't get far without feet. Look at his hands. He tied them too tight. One Valentine moved his knife towards my stumps. I saw him cut off a piece of my flesh and screamed. Why is he screaming like that? They hit me on the head. I stopped screaming, but when they started cutting me again, I couldn't keep quiet and started bellowing until they knocked me out. Why is he here? Take him to the vet. What the hell is even happening, bro? That was the last thing I heard. They probably ate the rest of me. Cannibal. Ending to cannibals. Bro, what? What the fuck, man? What the hell, bro? That's just...